If you were to sit back and think of what you are thankful for, what would you think about? Would you think about all the fun little gadgets you have, or would you think about the family and friends who are there to support you? Well, most of you probably do appreciate your families, but I want you to sit back and think about what you have that other kids don't. There are tons of kids in this world who don't have a family to support them, which leads us into adoption. Adoption should be available to all people. Some things that people really need to consider is what adoption really is, all the requirements it takes, and the adjustments that the kid goes through. To begin, adoption involves families from all over the world. Adoption is the process of adopting a child or children into your family. According to Adoption Network, in the article named Adoption Statistics posted in 2019, there's about 428,000 kids in foster care just in the U.S. Only about 135,000 of those 428,000 kids are adopted per year from the U.S. Over 50% of the kids in foster care are in there for more than 2 years. Of about 330 million Americans, only 1/3 of them have even considered adopting, and about 7 million U.S. citizens have been adopted. According to American Adoption, in the article named 4 Important Adoption Definitions You Should Know, in 2019, people of all ages can be adopted. They don't have to be over the age of 18 and under. Adults' definition of adoption varies depending on the experience they had through the process. For kids, though, adoption is a key part of their lives. They get to do more now than they did in foster care. Generally, the kids are about 8 years old when they get adopted, but in reality, there is no single definition of adoption. All descriptions depend on the experience that the family has gone through for or because of it. According to American Adoptions, in the article titled Comparing the Cost of Domestic, International, and Foster Care Adoption, the average total cost of adoption with an agency is $40,000, and the average total cost for adoption without an agency is $34,000. The cheapest way of adopting, though, is through your state's foster care system. Adoption is a multi-meaning word that means so much to kids and families. Next, the adopted kids take a while to adjust to the new life. Kids are able to feel welcomed and loved. They are able to attend a better school and get a better education. According to Olga Kazan, a writer for The Atlantic, adopted children tend to have worse behavior and lower academic levels for the first 2 grades of school. This happens because kids find it difficult when the bond between their actual parent and them have been broken. Adopted kids feel emotions easier and tend to express them more often. According to Nicholas Zill, a writer for the Institute of Family Studies, more than half of all the adopted kids out there have some type of health issue that makes it difficult for them to learn or focus. This can happen if the child has experienced a terrible time or event before the adoption. According to raisingchildren.net.au, in the article Raising Adopted Children, some aren't even to get dressed and ready or use the restroom because of that event. Many kids aren't able to remember much of or about themselves either. Some kids might have gotten abused or felt neglected before the adoption process started. The kids may also start to feel down and blame themselves for all that has happened. Doctor's appointments and new things will cost a lot, and most of the time it is only wealthy people that adopt. So if the adoption was cheaper, more people could adopt. Less than 5% of adopted kids have autism or have orthopedic impairments. 3% of all adopted kids are deaf or have trouble hearing, and 3% of all adopted kids are blind. Adopted kids are likely to have some kind of problem which costs a lot to get fixed, so in order for people to successfully take care of an adopted kid, the cost needs lowered so they have some money to do so. You have to take a lot of time and patience to help your adopted child through the adjustments. Adopted kids seem to take a while to adjust, and the parents have to be ready for it. Finally, in order to adopt a kid, you have to go through so much to be cleared. According to Texas Adoption Resource Exchange, in the article titled Adoption, Why Not You, you have to show proof of a marriage and or a divorce for part of the requirements, and have and keep a CPR certificate while in charge of the adopted kid. Some states require you to be married for at least 2 years, and some states require you to be 21 or at least 10 years older than the adopted child. According to an article called A Complete List of Expected Adoption Home Study Questions, posted by Adoption Network in 2018, People wanting to adopt also have to attend at least 20 hours per year of training. You have to ask questions about their community, health, family background, your criminal record, and your financial statements. They ask what your childhood was like growing up and where you plan on this kid attending school once they are in your hands. You have to let them do house checks every so often as well. You will have to go through a ton of questions as to how safe this child will be in your hands. According to an article titled Requirement for Adoption Through Special, posted in 2019 by Special Delivery, the adopted couple must be healthy in physical, emotional, and mental health. You also have to go through seeing all the tears of the original parents when saying goodbye to their child. So along with all the adjustments, you then have to go through all the requirements before the adjustments. So due to the long process and lots of hard work that people have put into adoption should be cheaper so that more people are able to expand their families. Some things that people need to know is what adoption really is, all the requirements it takes, and the adjustments that the kid goes through. The process of adoption should be cheaper and easier so more people can adopt. So next time you ask for something or say you don't like part of your family, I want you to think about what you have that others may not.